Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And today what we're going to make is the little dress you would have seen in the beginning of the video, and it fits a 2 to 3 year old toddler. And so what we're going to need for this video today is, I have this yarn here. You can use any colors you want. I can't remember the name of this particular color, but it's Red Heart Super Savior. And we're also going to use our main color, which is Super Savior as well, but it's called Baby Pink. So I'm just showing you that here. And for this project, we're going to use a size 5mm crochet hook. Okay, so now what we're going to do to start is we're going to take our tealish color, and I'm going to make a magic ring or a magic circle. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make a chain of 1, and then instead of that magic circle we're going to do 5 single crochets. So here I have my first 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And once I have finished that 5th one, what we're going to do next is we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made, and then we're going to tie off, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next to start working on our petals. So here I'm just trying to get my hook into that first single crochet that we made. Like I mentioned before, we're going to slip stitch into there. So it's a little tight at first, but I got it done, and I'm just going to slip stitch and tie off. And now we're going to start working on our petals. And remember, we're going to pull that loose tail to close up the ring. Okay guys, so we've tied off, and this is what we have so far. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the petals for our flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second color, which is our baby pink, and I'm going to attach into that last stitch, or the first stitch that we made where we slip stitch. You don't have to start there, but I just chose to start there. So go into there, and we're going to attach our yarn, and then we're going to chain 1. Oopsie. Right, so I have it attached, and I'm going to chain 1. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 4 double crochets into that same stitch. So this is my first one here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. After we've made the 4 double crochets, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to slip stitch into that same stitch, and that forms our very first petal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to place 4 double crochets into that same stitch. So here we go again. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do my 4th one in there now. And then to complete the petal, we're going to chain 1 and slip stitch into the same stitch. So then to continue the pattern, we're just going to repeat that. We're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to place 4 double crochets all into the same stitch, and then chain 1 again, and then slip stitch all again into the same stitch to form the next petal. So I'm going to repeat that all the way around, and you should have a total of 5 petals formed. So I'm just going to leave the camera going so you guys can see how I did it, and once that's completed, you should have completed your flower. And so now I'm coming to my last petal, so we're just going to go into that next stitch. We're going to slip stitch, we're going to chain 1, and then place 4 double crochets in the same stitch, and then chain 1 again, and then we're going to slip stitch again into the same stitch to form the final petal. So remember, I said we were repeating that particular pattern. And then once I've completed that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the start where we made the first petal. That first stitch where we made our first petal, we're going to slip stitch in there to complete the flower. Okay guys, so this is what we have so far. This is the completed flower, and it looks really cute. I'm going to show you how I just kind of join the first and the last petal together, because I don't really like the gap that I get. But you're going to make a total of 18 of these. Now in this video you will see that I have made 21 flowers, because I was going to make a headband as well with this video, but I decided to leave that for another video. So I'm just going to show you how I kind of join the petals, the first and the last petal together, so that they're not as separated compared to the other petals. And then I'm going to sew in those tails and then show you guys what we're going to do next to form the top part of our dress. And we're back guys. I remember I told you that I would have made 21 flowers for this video, but we're not going to make the headband today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we're going to go about sewing the flowers together to form the top part of our dress. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the first 7 flowers together in a row. Then I'm going to sew the next 6 flowers together in a row, and then finally the next 5 flowers together in a row. Remember, we only need 18 flowers for the dress. The others we're going to use to make a headband, and I'm going to make another video with that. So I'm going to show you how I join the flowers together. Remember, you're joining the first 7 in a row, the next 6, and then finally the last 5 flowers together in a row. And then once you have those 3 rows completed, you're going to join all of them together to form a big block or a big piece like fabric to form the front part of your dress. So I'm just going to show you how I join the first 2 together, and I'm just going to use my tapestry needle and my yarn. I'm going to join the flowers as nicely together as possible. I guess you could use single crochet stitches or slip stitches to join your flowers if you prefer, but I just felt like this looked neater, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I do that, and then once that's completed, I'm going to show you how the dress is going to look thus far once I have completed joining all the pieces together and joined it to form a big piece of fabric to form the front part of the dress. So this is what it looks like. I went ahead and joined those 2. So just continue joining your flowers together in a row, and then I'll show you what it looks like once completed. So this is what it looks like, guys. Remember, I joined my first 7 together in a row, I joined my next 6 together in a row, and then I joined the last 5 together in a row. And then I took those 3 pieces and I would have joined them together to form a big piece of fabric that is going to make up the front part of the dress. So now what you're going to do is you're going to flip it so that the row with the 5 flowers in it is the top part, because that's going to form like the neckline of the dress. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start working on the skirt portion of the dress. So I'm going to start with my main color, my pink, and I'm going to just work along the bottom part of the dress, along the flowers, and we're just going to work some single crochets in the flowers at the bottom. So I'm going to reattach my yarn there. I'm just joining in the corner of the flower, and I'm going to place a single crochet in there. So I'm just going to join in there. So it was a little tough to get my hook in there, and then I'm just going to chain 1 and place a single crochet in there. Sorry, not chain one, just join and place a single crochet in there, and then you're just going to place a single crochet all the way to the end along the bottom part of the dress. And remember guys, there's no right or wrong to this. You just want your stitches to look as even and as neat as possible. So you just go ahead and single crochet along the bottom part of the dress, and once that is completed, I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So this is what it looks like once you've completed your single crochet stitches along the bottom part of the dress in those flowers. And so now what I'm going to show you is what we're going to do is we are going to reattach the hook, and what we're going to do now is we're going to make a chain of 40, and I'm going to go ahead and make that chain, and then I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do next. Okay guys, so I have my chain of 40 here, and without twisting my work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attach this chain to the first stitch that we made. So here I'm just making sure that I don't twist it, and I'm going to attach my work with a slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made in the beginning. So I'm just showing you guys that that's what I'm going to do here. Once that is completed, I'm going to make a chain of 1. So just show you guys here again that is the slip stitch that we joined with. So now we have that, and this is what it looks like so far. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to start working on the skirt portion of our dress. So what we're going to do next is we're going to make a chain of 1, and we're going to double crochet in that same space that we made our chain 1, because that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And then we're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So I'm just going to do that, and then once those two double crochets have been made, we are going to increase into the next stitch. You would have made 3 double crochets, and in the 4th stitch we're going to do an increase. And an increase is where we place a double crochet, a chain 2, and another double crochet all in the same stitch. So I'm just showing you guys that that's what I'm doing here. So I'm chaining 2 again, and now I'm going to double crochet again in the same space. So just counting to show you guys, we have 3 double crochets, and then we increase into the 4th stitch. So that is the pattern that we're going to repeat all the way to the end, guys. We're going to repeat this all the way around, including those chain stitches that we made before. So we're going to do a double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to do an increase in the next. And remember, an increase is a double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet all in the same stitch. So continue doing that, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like once completed. Okay guys, so here this is what we have once I have completed that first round with our pattern. And remember, I told you that we were going to continue the pattern along the chains that we would have made previously, which was the 3 double crochets and then an increase in the next one following those 3. So I'm just showing you guys how it looks here, and then I'm showing you here that I would have joined to finish the row with a slip stitch to the first double crochet that we made. So now what we're going to do for round 2 is we are going to start with a chain of 1, and we're going to place a double crochet into that same space that we made our chain 1, because remember that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And then we're going to double crochet in each stitch or each double crochet all the way up to our first chain 2 space. And in that chain 2 space we're going to do an increase. So we're going to double crochet in there, chain 2, and then another double crochet all in that same chain 2 space. And this is our repeat pattern all the way around. So we're going to place a double crochet in each stitch and increase in each chain 2 space all the way around. And I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like once we have completed that. And round 2 is our repeat pattern, so we're going to continue round 2 for rows 3 to 16 of our dress. If you want your dress to be longer, you can go ahead and do that, but I wanted 16 rounds for the dress, so you're just going to continue doing that until you have the length that you want. And like I said, I'm going to complete that off camera, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like once completed. Ta-da! And this is what it looks like once we have completed this. Remember, I said you don't have to switch colors if you don't want to, but what I did was I continued from row 3 to 13 in the main color of the dress, and then for rounds 14 to 16 I switched colors to a different shade of pink. Remember, I said you don't have to, and this new shade is called Petal Pink, and again it's Red Heart Super Savior yarn. I'm going to show you the label for it. So here I'm just showing you the label. And so for the final round of the dress, round 17, is we're going to continue in that new color that we would have joined in, and we're going to make a round of single crochets only, and there's going to be no increases. So here I'm just slip stitching to join to finish off the 16th round, and I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet in the same space, and I'm going to place a single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And in each chain 2 space, I'm actually just going to place 1 single crochet in those chain 2 spaces as well, because remember I said we're not going to make any more increases. And once I have that completed, I'm going to slip stitch to join and tie off, and I'm going to continue doing that, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like once completed. And here guys, I'm just showing you that we're just placing 1 single crochet, like I said, in each chain 2 space, and then we're going to continue along placing 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way to the end. So here is our dress so far. I think it looks really cute. It's really pretty. I absolutely love it. I hope you guys love it too. So here I am just going to show you guys that I'm actually just going to slip stitch to join to finish off the final round, and then I'm going to tie off, and then I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do next. So I'm just going to show you guys how the dress looks again, and the next part I'm going to show you is what I do to make like the back waist part of the dress look neater in a sense. So what I am going to do is I want to sew down these 2 petals on either side of the dress first of all, but what I'm going to do is along this side of the dress that I'm showing you here is I'm going to make some single crochets. I don't think you necessarily have to do it, but like I said, I want my dress to look as neat as possible. So I'm just going to reattach the main color on the hook, and I'm going to place some single crochets along that area, and I'm going to start right directly in the corner because I want to leave space to sew on the flowers like I'm showing you here. So I'm going to actually start on the opposite end and show you where I'm going to go. So I'm just showing you here where I'm going to finish off, but on the other end is where I'm going to actually start my work. But there's no right or wrong with this. You go ahead and you place your single crochets along the top part of these stitches that you would have made before. So again, I'm just showing you guys here where I'm starting to make those single crochets because I want to sew down this part of the flower down. So I have attached my yarn and I'm going to single crochet, and then I'm just going to place a single crochet at the top of each stitch along the way all the way to the end, and I'm going to continue doing that, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like once completed, and then I'm going to show you guys also how I'm going to sew down the flowers. So this is what it looks like once I've completed that little row of single crochet all the way to the end. And remember I said it would have stopped short, and then I sewed on one of the flowers to the end of the work. So I'm just going to show you guys how I sew down the flower on the first end where we would have started, And so I'm just gonna take my tapestry needle and I'm just gonna sew that down there. I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. And again, guys, there is no right way or wrong way to do this. You just want it to look as neat as you can. So that's what I'm doing. And once that is finished, I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do next, which should be the straps of our dress. So here I'm just showing you that I'm going to just make some knots in it to secure it, and then eventually I'm going to sew in all of those tails and stuff off camera, and then I'm going to show you guys how we work on the straps of our little dress. Okay guys, so we're going to work on the straps of the dress now. So I'm just going to reattach my main color to the hook. I'm going to attach that into the top of the flower. You can start on either side of the dress, but just know that because we're forming an X in the back, if you're going to start on the left, you're going to just join your strap on the right side of the back of the dress, and if you're going to start on the right, you're going to join your work on the left side in the back of your dress. So I'm just going to join here on the top of my flower, and I'm going to make a chain of 45. And once I've completed that, I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of the chains that we needed to make, those 45 chains. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my chain without making sure I don't twist it into the opposite side of the back part of the dress. And I should have marked my stitches with some stitch markers to make it easier for you guys, but that's what I'm going to do with the second strap to show you. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to count up on each end, opposite ends on the back part of your dress where you made those single crochet stitches. You're going to count out 6 stitches and mark those 6 stitches. And then what you're going to do, so I did it here off camera. I finished the first strap, and what I did was I marked the 6th stitch up from the other corner in the dress to show you guys how we're going to work on the second strap. So I'm going to work on the chains like we did previously for the first strap, the 45 chains, and then I'm going to show you guys how we're going to attach those chains into the back part of the dress to complete the straps. And it's important to note that I did notice that the dress was it was really heavy. I made this dress for my niece, so I would recommend doing some thicker straps to help hold up the weight of the dress. But I do think that it still came out pretty cute, but some thicker straps would definitely be useful for this pattern. Okay, so I went ahead and like I told you, I did your 45 chains. So remember I said you count up 6 stitches and you place a stitch marker in that 6th stitch. And so now what you're going to do is you're actually going to join in the 5th stitch. I made a mistake here and joined into that 6th stitch, but you're actually going to join in the 5th stitch first, and then you're going to slip stitch into that 6th stitch as well. So I'm just making sure my work isn't twisted, and I'm eventually going to pull my hook out and join in the 5th stitch from the hook, and then go into the 6th stitch and join with a slip stitch again. So going into that 5th stitch here, I'm going to join with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the 6th stitch as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do slip stitches all the way down the piece, and go back up to the flower and then slip stitch again. And remember I said that, guys, that is useful to do a thicker strap, so I would recommend possibly doing some half double crochets or maybe even double crochets to hold up the weight of the dress, just to give it some extra strength. But slip stitches work nicely, but I would say if I were to make the dress again, I would definitely make it with half double crochets or double crochets along the straps, to make them thicker and to add more strength to hold up the weight of the dress. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like so far once the straps are finished. Just showing you guys what it looks like. I think it looks really cute. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm just going to show you how it looks at the back. Remember I said it's pretty poofy. And also off camera, you're also going to add a drawstring. I didn't actually get to add this on camera, but I'll tell you what I did once we get there. So the next part of this dress, what I want to do is, you could finish this off as is. The dress is basically completed, but I am extra, so I wanted to add some pizzazz to it. So I added some pearl beads to the centers of the flowers, and I sewed these on with some cotton and thread. I don't remember the size of these beads exactly though, but it doesn't really matter what size you use. I probably should have gone with some bigger ones, but I still think it came out cute. So I'm just going to sew these on off camera, and then I'm going to come back and show you guys what it looks like once completed. Okay guys, so this is how the dress look once I have finished sewing in all the pearl beads. I think it looks really cute. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember I didn't get to make a video for the drawstring part of the dress, but you're just basically just going to chain 120 chains. You can do more chains if you prefer, and you're actually just going to insert that chain into the waistband part of the dress. So basically where the skirt part of the dress would have started, you're going to go along that part of the dress, as well as along the back part of the dress where you made your single crochet stitches. And I made my drawstring to tie at the back of the dress. I think it looks really nice tying at the back. The drawstring at the front wouldn't have looked cute to me, but just give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys so much for watching my video. Bye guys. Yeah.